Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 9 of the F2 2020 Mick Schumacher career mode, where today we're here back for the Belgian GP weekend. Yes, obviously if you guys missed out on last weekend's racing from the Hungaroring, I would definitely recommend going back and checking out obviously before we head into this weekend's action. Obviously, of course, there will be spoilers in just a moment, so yeah, if you don't want those, make sure you go back and check those videos out. But yeah, heading though to the Belgian Grand Prix, 42 points now the gap has opened up to at the top of the championship. Obviously, Artem Markelov having been nerfed in the last patch. Yeah, very interesting to see how much he's going to be able to maintain towards the front of the field in the latter stages of the season there. He's still 29 clear of Guan Yu Zhou. You can see Schwartzman and Drogovic separated by a further 7 points each. And then Matsushita back on 94 after his win in last weekend's sprint race there. But yeah, heading to Belgium though, my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. Hopefully we can perform well here today. Let's head back to Spa. Quickly before we dive into this video though, a massive thank you once again to Codemasters. They have given you guys the opportunity to get Dirt 5 for 50% off currently for either the standard or the 1 year edition over on PC. If you click on the top link down in the description, you will be sent over to the Codemasters store, and then if you head through there and head over to Green Man Gaming, you'll be given 50% off of Dirt 5 if it's something that you're interested in picking up. I played this game before. I absolutely love the playground mode on it as well, as you can currently see on your screens. And obviously, if you do click through that link and buy the game, you also help support the channel as well. So yeah, if it's a game you're interested in, make sure you click that top link down in the description below. And yeah, a massive thank you once again to Codemasters, obviously, for giving us the opportunity to give this game to you guys on half price. Thank you all, and let's get on with the video. Here we are then, back at the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit. I absolutely love this place. It's just such an awesome roller coaster of a racetrack. But yeah, heading though into this weekend, hopefully we continue on with a good run of form that we've shown in the recent weeks. And yeah, let's just dive right on into this. I've completely forgot to change my brake pressure, so I have to make sure we do that down in towards the first corner. Nice and easy on the brakes. Obviously we'll get a good chance to do it up the Camel Straight there. We can see, therefore, not getting a particularly good run through the first turn there is Drogovic. Currently the fastest man so far. I'd argue he's been one of the best surprises over the course of this season so far. Completely pinned through a Rouge, no issues through there, and rally on the exit of the corner as we activate the DRS. We are running quite low aero, as you come to expect around this circuit, closing in on 200 miles an hour as we reach the end of the Camel Straight there, braking just at the start of the curbing. Should get you nicely rotated in towards the corners here. Obviously, I've done a fair few laps around Spa across obviously many different games and sims over the years, but it's always a bit weird trying to adapt to some different braking lines. Obviously, on F1 2020, you know, we've had a lot of interesting races in my team and things like that around this circuit as well. Statistically, actually, for how much I love this place, it hasn't been a very good track for us on F1 2020. In all honesty as well, and so far this qualifying lap is really quite proving that as well there as we head down in towards the final sector of the lap. We're still way down the order as well. We get a bit out of shape through the Fagnes chicane there, down in towards Stabilo. Yeah, just struggling to get the car quite pointed where I want it to be at the moment through the exit of Stabilo there. We've got a good run actually as we head up in towards BLANCHIMONT here to finish off the lap. You can see we're slowly but surely sneaking our way back up the order again, as obviously the lower aerodynamics really does help us out. Completely pinned through BLANCHIMONT as well there. Again, no hint of a lift, and down in towards the final chicane, slamming the anchors just before the 100-metre board there, down through the final couple of turns. It hasn't been a particularly bad lap in the end. Then as we head out in the final turn, it is going to be P11 on the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. Splat bang in the middle of the field. That's okay, based on how decent the AI tend to be over one lap.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three.
Matsushita,
Drogovic, and Yuki Tsunoda. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
So there we go then, it is MP Motorsport who are looking incredibly strong week in, week out at the moment there who get Matsushita on pole there. Drogovic joins him on the front rows. We've got Japanese drivers starting on the right-hand side of the track for the start of this one. On the first 3 rows there, Sonoda third, Sato in P5 there, separated by Marcus Armstrong. You can see Pedro Piquet, Guan Yu Zhou, obviously one of our championship rivals, still Schwartzman as well, another big rival of ours there in P8, ahead of Ilot Mazepin, and then myself there just ahead of Guilherme Samaya. Tictum, Jack Aitken, the 2 Brits, make up row 7, and as you can see the rest of the order there, a bit of a surprise from Jay Daruvla to be a bit further down the order, and yeah, Markelov, he's not quite what he once was. I think that's fair to say in this stage of the championship. Let's move in then to the feature race.
It's Saturday, and that means we're preparing for today's Formula 2 event here in Spa. As the cars are being prepared, let's join them trackside for the start of what promises to be a terrific race. So here we are again, a whopping 4.35 miles of track here at Spa, featuring long straights, some seriously fast corners, and some massive elevation changes. This is a track that routinely delivers high-quality racing, and we'll be hoping to see just that from our young F2 drivers today. Davide Valsecchi joins me today. Davide, Spa is a favourite for fans and drivers alike. What tips would you have for these young drivers today?
Always a pleasure to be here, Alex. Who doesn't love Spa? I wish I was down there racing today. I would say there's a lot of places to overtake on this circuit, so be patient on that first corner. Try and get through it safely, get a good exit, and get in the right position to attack at the end of the main straight.
Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. An immense lap from Nobuharu Matsushita yesterday puts him on pole position. And it's Felipe Dragovic in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sonoda, Armstrong, Marino Sato, and Piquet, Zhou, Schwartzman, Ilott, Nikita Mazepin, Schumacher, Samaya, Daniel Tictum, and Aitken, Alesi, Lundgaard, Daruvula, and Louis Delatraz. Giotto and Sean Galale, Markelov, and Roy Nissany completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So here we are then on the grid, ready for the F2 feature race here from the Belgian Grand Prix circuit then. Starting P11, right in the middle of the pack, but it is looking rather overcast around this circuit. Now we could opt to go for the alternate strat. I have no intentions of doing so here today. We don't think we're going to get quite lucky, like we did at the Hungarian Grand Prix last weekend there. But hopefully we can keep it nice, clean and tidy. Maybe we can move past Mazepin down in towards turn 1 as well here. But yeah, hopefully just survive the opening lap and see where we can get from there. Ready then for the 5 red lights here from the F2 feature race from this Belgian Grand Prix circuit. It's 5 lights. And it's, again, an incredibly long hole, but it is lights out. And away we go there. Obviously not off to a particularly great start. Down in towards turn 1. We'll go late on the brakes, though. Oh, actually a bit of contact with my teammate Robert Schwartzman there, as I wasn't quite intending to try and get alongside my teammate as we head down the hill in towards Eau Rouge for the first time. We're still side by side with our teammate here. Don't really want to go side by side in towards Eau Rouge, so Schwartzman sweeps around the outside there. But we are up 2 spots then off the start of this Grand Prix. Ilott appears to have gone a bit backwards there as Mazepin going side by side with him. We've got a good run on our teammate Schwartzman as we head up the Kemmel Straight though for the first time. Pretty even on the brakes. We'll have the inside for the second part of the corner if we can keep it hooked up. But again, Schwartzman will have the inside off the corner. This is brilliant side-by-side racing with our teammate at the start of this Grand Prix. The number 21 car goes defensive down the hill in towards the next turn. There are a lot of understeer for ourselves as we just cannot find the grip on the outside there. And yeah, Schwartzman does hold on to P8 off the start of this race, and I think it is still Matsushita who leads the way there, but his teammate has gone backwards just a little bit off the start. I think he's lost a couple of places. So there has been a bit of chopping and changing up and down the order as we head down in towards the final sector of lap 1. But yeah, we're already just 1 place outside of reverse grid pole there, but we need big points in this feature race. Really tucked into the slipstream of our teammate Schwartzman as we head up in towards Blanchimont for the first time in this Grand Prix. I thought about having a look at the inside there of Schwartzman, actually lifting through Blanchimont. A tiny bit of contact there between myself and our teammate, but we might be able to go for the send up the inside. Just to get the car slowed down in towards the first part of the chicane there. Matsushita does still lead the way at the end of the opening lap there, but we've just about held on ahead of our teammate Schwartzman. And we're now up at 8th place as we head back down in towards La Source. Oh, Schwartzman might be able to get a cutback on me on the exit. He is going to try and do so. And it is, well, not quite going to be a drag race down towards Eau Rouge this time around. Schwartzman comfortably ahead of us, but this battle is not done just yet. We've had a few absolute ding-dongs with our teammate over the course of the season there. A lot of curb as we head up through a Rouge and Rally on here, out onto the Kemmel Straight once again. Still no DRS, of course, in this Grand Prix, but again, just the slightly lower wings are really coming in clutch as we reach the end of the Kemmel Straight there. Slam on the anchors again. Schwartzman tries to keep the nose at the inside. We give him a bit of a squeeze, and we are now hopefully completely up into P8, and now we aim to stay here. We'll move forward, of course. Heading through the exit of Stabilo once again here on lap 3. We're all over the back now of Pedro Piquet. We've got an even bigger run on him than we're able to on our teammate Schwartzman. Oh, Piquet tries to slam the door, but we are there at the inside in towards Blanchimont. Don't want to go 2 by 2 here in Formula 2 cars, and luckily for us, Piquet does back out of it as we head down in towards the final chicane there. Now up at a P7 of the Grand Prix with a daring little move there. Now we're behind Guan Yu Zhou, who could well end up being our main championship rival here. New fastest lap, the first car to dip sub 2 minutes in this race as well. That's definitely a bit late on the anchors down in towards turn 1 there. I think we might have adopted the Formula 1 line just a bit too much through that first corner. I think we're still just about going to be in the DRS though of the cars in front, which is going to be critical here. As you can see, Matsushita dominated last weekend's sprint race, already looking clear out in front in today's feature. Coming on to lap 5 then, the team want to see him at the end of this lap, but we are practically pushing Guan Yu Zhou through the first corner here. Obviously, Spa just provides so many opportunities for good racing, but hopefully we can keep our footing up through Eau Rouge and Rally on. We might be able to try and get a run on the Chinese driver. They're taking a really wide line on the way, and you can see how well that's worked for us. Guan Yu Zhou not quite able to maintain the same sort of momentum through the corner, and we've given ourselves a perfect little slingshot to the outside of Guan Yu Zhou there, and look at that, he's already had to tuck in behind us, 200 miles an hour at the end of the Kemmel Straight. There is Armstrong, and I'm not too sure though, I'm going to guess that's Sonoda battling it out for P2 at the top of the hill there. I think Sonoda's come out on top in that situation, and it's now a Japanese 1-2 in this race. Sato really sitting on the apex of the second part of Stabilo there. They don't know why the AI can't seem to get a run out of that corner there. But, oh, look at that, Sato incredibly early on the brakes. We have to take evasive action around the outside through Blanchimont, and we certainly can't capitalise on a move in that moment there. Oh, look at that, just how slow is Sato going there. He's going to dive into the pit, so we're going to stay out in this Grand Prix. Try and go for a bit of an overcut here. Schwartzman opts to stay out as well here, so we might have to go to the end of lap 7 in this race. Obviously, if we've been given the priority box, we can't afford to just screw Schwartzman over for our own race here. So yeah, we're probably going to have to go 2 laps more in this one. But yeah, Sonoda, Armstrong and Matsushita all stay out as well there. Can we get an undercut on the rest of them? Or an overcut even, I should say. Oh, end of lap 6, the tyre warning has just come on this soft set tyres there. As I was about to say, actually, I think they're hanging in quite nicely at the moment as we went green through sector 2 there. I think the first time in this race we haven't had any dirty air heading through that sector of the circuit. Look at how much we've gained in towards the final chicane there as Sonoda and Armstrong dived into the pit lane. Matsushita clear out in front in this Grand Prix. He might even stay out ahead of these guys after he's boxed. I think he has. As new fastest lap out of nowhere. Thank you very much. But now these tyres are probably going to hit the cliff this lap. Where are they at? 61% on the front, so we'll really have to try and nurse them around this lap, but hopefully they hang on in there. Towards the final couple of corners then of lap 7, it looks like the big winner out of all this so far has been Drugovic, who's leapfrogged his way all the way back up into net P2 of the Grand Prix here. As we head down through Blanchimont, the tyres have just about hang on in there over the course of this lap, but they are definitely hitting the cliff. It's all very, very deep on the way into the pit lane there. We just like keep it between the white lines. Make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy. There we go. Don't want to take any stupid risks into the pit lane here of the Belgian Grand Prix, but I wonder if everyone else has been a little bit held up through their pit stop window here. There's no doubt about it. Matsushita is going to be clear out in front when we do get back out of the pit lane, but we're going to have some slightly fresher medium tyres here, so hopefully that'll give us a bit of an advantage as well. Nice, clean, tidy stop. That's the main thing I'm asking for, as Matsushita flies past us. 5.8. We struggled a little bit to get the car in gear as we head back down the exit of the pit lane. But where are we going to rejoin in this Grand Prix? There is Drogovic that heads out in front of us. We're also going to get jumped by Marcus Armstrong. And Sato might just get a run on us as we head down in towards Eau Rouge. But we certainly haven't lost out anything. I think, yeah, we are up and now into P4 of the Grand Prix there as we head back up through Blanchimont. Up through Radion there. But yeah, next up then, Marcus Armstrong. 5.5 to go here from the Belgian Grand Prix. And we are now sighting the podium places. Come on then, Armstrong. Don't put too much of a fight up against this, buddy. Except that you're not going to be getting any silverware this weekend. To the outside of Marcus Armstrong, down in towards Blanchimont. Not quite, again, where you want to be, but Armstrong way earlier. Bailing out of that, and we do sweep around the outside. So clearly he thought there was no chance I was going to bail. And he was absolutely right. Round the outside through Blanchimont. You don't see that all too often. There is Matsushita, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 6.5 seconds up the road. Drogovic, though, only a second in front of us as we head back down in towards La Source. I can't imagine it's going to be long before we're trying to destroy this MP Motorsport 1-2. And the last couple of times round, myself and Matsushita have just been trading fastest laps, and poor Drogovic stuck between us in P2 at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be P2 for too much longer for the Brazilian here as we try to get a good run down through Eau Rouge and Radion here, once again trying to take that sort of wider line in, really open up the exit of the corner, and surely this is going to be a bit inevitable for Felipe Drogovic here. Slipstream DRS activated, nothing the Brazilian can do. Apart from tries to go defensive, but we should be cleanly around him. But as we get into the braking zone there, he tries to just let off the brakes slightly to keep the nose on the inside, but we do sweep around the outside now, up to P2 of this Belgian Grand Prix feature race with just 2.5 to go here. I think trying to take 6 seconds out of Matsushita by the end is optimistic, but we'll see if we can try and set another fastest lap. Matsushita sets a 59.2 as the fastest lap trading continues in this Grand Prix. A 58.5 though. I think Matsushita is going to struggle to beat that before the end of this race. As yeah, both of us really just pushing at the moment. But yeah, Matsushita about to probably make it 2 wins in a row this season. Don't think anyone else has managed that just yet. I'm saying that we might have done early on in the campaign if we won a sprint race in next weekend's feature. No one has won both races in a weekend though. I can say that with certainty so far. But yeah, 2 to go then here for the Belgian Grand Prix. And it now just looks like we're going to consolidate P2 in this one. Heading on to the final lap then of the Belgian Grand Prix, a 58.3. We're getting quicker and quicker lap after lap at the moment, and I think Matsushita has admitted defeat and is just going to try and consolidate this race victory there as we run horribly deep through the first corner. He's absolutely dominated this race though, it's safe to say that, but we've been chasing him down towards the end nonetheless, and the pace has gone sort of a bit up and down between the pair of us, but yeah, if we could sort out our qualifying pace, that would be quite nice in the latter stages of this World Championship. We've been on a really good run of form though in recent races, despite, I think, yeah, our last win, of course, came back at the British Grand Prix feature race. See if you remember that one a couple of weeks ago. We haven't been winning all too often this season on the whole, not as much as some dominant campaigns of the past, but we have consistently been in the points week in, week out here in pretty much every race this championship. I think we had one at Zandvoort where we didn't score. I'm pretty certain that's been about it over the course of this campaign. So yeah, it's been really, really strong up to this point. But still, of course, 7 races to go of this World Championship. It is not over just yet. You can easily have a torrid weekend. And the likes of Guan Yu Zhou, maybe Artem Markelov can really get back in the running for it as well at the end of the day. I think saying that, Markelov is in last place at the moment, having a look on the mini-map. But Matsushita could very much be proving himself now as our biggest threat towards the end of this year. It really does seem to be a toss-up between our teammate Zhou, Matsushita and Artem Markelov as to who is going to be the man that can try and stop us winning this World Championship. But if my money was on anyone right now, it is the man in the lead of this Grand Prix, down in towards the final couple of corners of this Belgian Grand Prix feature race. Nobuharu Matsushita has led this one from the start and has never really looked back. 5 seconds in the lead as we head through the final corner there. He takes home his second race victory in a row there, and we come through from 11th on the grid to P2 on raw pace alone.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
It wasn't always plain sailing today, but a very important win nonetheless. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just one lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be MP Motorsport picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Mick Schumacher, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
My driver of the day is Mick Schumacher. With this team, Prema Power Team, they made the difference on the race strategy. Fantastic.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
And there we are then, guys, the end of the feature race here from the Belgian Grand Prix. And Matsushita, pole position to the race victory. And I mean, even if you just exclude our fastest lap, he was half a second quicker than anyone else in the Grand Prix. That just goes to show how strong the Japanese man has been over the last couple of weeks there. But P11 to P2 at the end of the day, I'd like to believe we could have won that one had qualifying gone just that bit better. But 20 points on the board still. We are further extending our championship lead at the top there. Drogovic rounds out the podium ahead of Armstrong there in P4. You can see Sato and Tsunoda dropping back just a little bit in that Grand Prix towards the end there, with Guan Yu Zhou starting on the front row there alongside Pedro Piquet. Brazilians and sprint races have been a good combo so far this year, so maybe, just maybe, Pedro Piquet is going to get right back to the front of the field once again there. Eilert and Schwartzman round out your top 10 there, with Mazepin just missing out on points, and you can see your rest of your order there. And yeah, like I said, Markov last place at the end of the day. He has really been nerfed into the ground on F1 2020. But that means championship-wise, though, 62 now. The gap at the top there is Matsushita ahead of Guan Yu Zhou there. Drogovic up in P5. They're ahead of our teammate Robert Schwartzman as well there. So yeah, it really is wide open in that best of the rest battle at the moment. But I think for us, we're looking pretty safe at the front of the field. I don't want to speak too soon, but yeah, things are looking rather good at the moment there. Tsunoda gets the jump on Mazepin as well. They're 67 to 66 points. And you can see further down the order, Pedro Piquet moves himself past Lundgaard and Samaya there, with Alesi now ahead of Jack Aitken. And still, it's just Louis Delatraz left to score there. Teams-wise, though, MP Motorsport, the gap's 65 at the top of the championship, so that might be the battle to watch towards the end of the year there. Univirtuosi, or Unai? Who on earth calls it Unai? Yeah, Virtuosi in P3, still ahead of Racelab, ART, Carlin, High Tech there, and you can see a big drop-off back to Campos, Dam, Charouz, and Trident rounding out your order there as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. Like I keep saying, we're trying to hit 15k subs at the moment. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow ready for the sprint race. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.